Math 1111, quantitative literacy. We are at lesson 8. And again, these are some of the most important lessons that we are going to learn all year long. I hope you're psyched for this. As always, some praxis reviews, some review materials, and then some classwork contemplations. Today, we start calculating compound interest. In the following lessons, we'll talk about how to use it to your advantage more. A little bit today, but more in the future. First, some praxis questions to work on. Here's your first one. Go ahead, give it a try. Okay, the other day, we spoke of how, same exact thing as when we deal with regular numbers. If we're great with fractions, super. If not, we can always go to checking the choices. Now, the correct answer is 1/2. And you should never, ever get any of these equations wrong when you have choices, okay? Because you can just substitute the choices until it checks. So here's the correct solution. As we would normally do, you subtract 1/6 from both sides. That gives me 2/3 x equals 2/6. Divide both sides by 2/3 and you get 1/2. That's how you arrive at the correct solution. Now I went kind of quickly with that, but I assume you're using a calculator. If you struggle with fractions, you may not want to do all those inverse operations. Instead, you may want to turn around and check the choices. When you get to this one, 2/3 times 1/2, you could kill the 2's, it's 1/3, or you could do 2 times 1 is 2, 3 times 2 is 6. 1/3 plus 1/6 adds up to 3/6, because 1/3 is 2/6. 2/6 and 1/6 makes 3/6, and 3/6 is 1/2. Next up, go ahead. Okay. So, always start off with a nice little diagram with the diagonal drawn in, of course. Now, 15 is the length of the diagonal, 9 is the height. So, we have to find this missing side in order to find the perimeter. I mean, I know the right-hand side is also 9. But to get the top and bottom, I need to find this side of what amounts to a right triangle. It's also the side of the rectangle, but it's the side of the right triangle. So we are going to call that n and go leg squared plus leg squared is hypotenuse squared. 9 is the 1, so 9 squared plus n squared is 15 squared. 9 squared is 81. N squared is n squared. 15 squared is 225. Subtracting the 81. Yeah, I know, I'm kind of going quick here, but this is exactly like what we did the other day. So this is their second time through, and I suspect that you're pretty confident. So n squared is 144, square root both sides, and I get n is 12. As far as the perimeter goes, the left and the right are both 9, the top and the bottom are both 12. So it's 9 and 12 and 9 and 12. That adds up to 42 inches. Next up, card is drawn at random from a standard 52 card deck. What's the probability the card is clubs? Go ahead. Okay, so with respect to clubs, there are 13 of them in the deck. And remember, probability is the number of ways to do the event you're looking to do. We call it E, over the total number of possibilities. So if there are 13 clubs out of 52 cards, the probability of getting clubs, it says H, but it should be clubs, is 13 out of 52, which is 1/4. There's my right answer. Okay, 2 dice are thrown simultaneously. What's the probability of getting a sum of 7 or 11? I will give you a hint, and that's where you do the dice rolls chart. Go ahead. Okay. 2 dice, very important. That tells you use the chart. Probability of getting a sum of 7 or 11. That tells you that you've got to add up to a 7 or 11. There's my dice rollers chart. How many 7s do you have? Well, the 7s go on the diagonal here. There are 6 of them. And how many 11s? You got 2 more. So that's 8 out of 36, or 2/9. Next up, which of the following shows the numbers in ascending order? Go ahead. To compare, I would strongly suggest that you put them in the same type of number, and I think decimals is the easiest. So for A, you get 0.6666, and it really keeps going forever and ever, but I rounded it off to 7. Then 0.68, then 0.67, and right there, I'm not ascending, I'm decreasing, so it's not A. For B, it's 0.67, 0.68, that's looking good. But then it's 0.66, right? That second 6 is smaller than the 8, so that's descending, that's not good. Next up, 68, 67, that's descending. This one better work. 66, 66, 7, and then 0.67. That's good because 0.67 is bigger. I know the number looks longer, but with decimals, you don't do that. You look at the places. So the first places are both 6. The next place is a 6 and a 7, so the 7's bigger. And then the next one, the 6 are the same, but then the 8's bigger than the 7, and then the 0.80. So choice D is correct. Next one. Go ahead, a little stop and start here. Okay, so the bus goes 65 miles an hour and it's driving for 8 hours. So altogether, the bus, well, first I should back up a second. The average speed of the bus is 65 miles per hour and the average speed of the car is 70 miles per hour. Both depart at the same place at the same time. How much further ahead of the bus is the car after 8 hours? So let's see how far the bus went. Okay, 65 miles an hour for 8 hours. Kill the hours, that leaves you with 65 times 8 miles, which is 520 miles. Let's do the same thing for the car. 70 miles an hour times 8 hours, kill the hours. 70 times 8 is 560 miles. How much further is it? I got to subtract. So 560 minus 520 is 40 miles. Or you could have said, well, look, the car's going 5 miles an hour faster, and it's going for 8 hours, so 5 times 8 is 40. All right, there is our Praxis review. I hope you're getting test-wise, test-savvy, learning how to handle these questions and doing well with it.